Today we're going to be playing Stardew Valley. Cute characters, cozy graphics, and a surprising amount to do. And even harder than figuring out what to focus on is finding out how to do it efficiently. This is going to be my first time playing or experiencing the game, so there will be mistakes along the way, but my goals are going to be pretty simple. First and foremost, I want to enjoy the discovery of the game and its mechanics. And secondly, I want to be able to reach level 10 in each skill while earning enough gold to make the farm more efficient for future play. I started out by setting up a standard world and immediately found the dialogue and characters incredibly relatable. There will come a day when you feel crushed by the burden of modern life. Check. Fast forward 30 seconds later, and I desperately need a change. So we opened the letter, which led to moving to Stardew Valley. I'm met by Robin, who shows me to my new farmhouse and immediately roasts our poor grandpa's last possession. Robin, that's rude. Okay, Lewis stuck up for us. I like you, Lewis. I grab a nearby package that contained parsnip seeds. I pick up a decorative bowl and then abandon the bowl. No, we don't need that. And then we head outside. I start making room in front of the house to grow the gifted parsnip seeds. Yep, that is us using an axe, which requires energy per swing to clear shrubs. And it is so painful to watch. And speaking of energy, just in case you're unaware, many actions in Stardew Valley require energy to be able to perform, and you have a limited amount of energy that you can use each day. It's important to make the most out of what you do have. And this turns out to be a much bigger constraint in the early game versus later whenever you end up having the means to restore some energy. Masterfully using my hoe, I create a small plot to plant the parsnips in. We water them, and then head into town for the first time. While trying to introduce myself to this very kind gentleman, I accidentally flex my sick watering can, and he must not have liked that because he brushed me off entirely. I spent the rest of the day introducing myself to as many people as I could find, ending the night with a little bit of light woodcutting. I wake up the next morning to a letter from Willie, letting me know that he is back at his fishing store, and then we head out. I introduce myself to Linus, water my crops, and then head down to Willie's where he greets us. Willie! And he gives me my first fishing pole. Ooh, a bamboo pole. I feel like fishing is almost always a good early moneymaker in most games. I check his shop to see if I need bait, and not seeing any, I head to the water and we throw out our first and second casts. Click to raise the bar. Oh, too much? Okay, release to lower. There we go. And just like that, I was hooked. You get it? Fishing? Hook? Anyways, I stayed for a while with some attempts not going well, but eventually we did get the hang of it. Stopping only briefly to sell the fish that we caught, and then jumping straight back in. After selling to Willie one more time, I then head out to try to introduce myself to the rest of the people in town. I make my way to Clint, the blacksmith. Ooh, he sells ore and can upgrade our tools. Clint, I have a feeling we're going to be pretty good friends. While exploring town, I enter Pierre's shop. Ooh, a backpack upgrade. Oh, 2,000 gold. All right, we're not going to be getting that for a little while. And then exploring further, tragedy strikes. Oh, oh no, guys, we sprung a leak. Ooh, it's a tough crowd, you guys. Heading back out, I ran across Sebastian, and then when I tried to help this miner with the rocks, I couldn't. So I headed back to the farm, and I cleared the area around the farm to use the rest of my daily energy. And yep, that is pick or axe usage on the shrubs, which still pains me every single time I see it. And I end up overexhausting myself by using too much energy. Not a good start to our 100 days, but we do make a huge 100 gold overnight for our daily efforts. I woke up on day 3 to rain, which meant I didn't have to water the few crops that were planted. There were still 3 people that I hadn't been able to find, so I set out on a mission to find them. I came across a building that I had not entered yet, but it didn't open until 9, so I fished at the nearby water to burn a little bit of time until it opened. Oh, is this him? Are you him? It's nice to meet you, Demetrius. I spent the next few hours searching for the last resident and finally found her around 1 p.m. After selling the fish that I caught earlier in the day, I headed to the docks to fish a little bit more. The early game fishing really feels like the easiest way to make consistent profits without a time or gold investment, so this is probably going to be my filler activity until I get the rest of the farm up and running. After several failed attempts, I call it quits for fishing for the day and head back to the farm to till a little bit. I'm honestly not sure why. After throwing my extra stuff into the for sale bin and having used all of my available energy, I head to bed at 7 p.m. At least I received my first level up in fishing and made 140 gold from the additional cells. I was a little bit uncertain what I should be focusing on at this point, so I left the farm only to double back because I forgot to water the crops, and then we headed out once again. I fished until Pierre's opened, where I bought a few kale and potato seeds. I plant and water the seeds and then make my way back to my best friend Willie's house, finally committing to a pretty long fishing session from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., stopping only to sell fish to Willie whenever we needed to clear some inventory space. And then back at the farm, I started cutting down trees to use as much energy as I possibly could. I throw my extra items into the sell bin to finish off the night, reaching fishing level 2 and making 229 gold from the extra fish that sold overnight. I was greeted the next morning by Marnie and a stray puppy. Okay, what's your name gonna be? Needs to be a good one. Well, you're the goodest of boys, so let's go ahead and make it that. I also received a letter from Jojamart. We cleared the landslide. Ooh, does that mean that I can go to the mines now? I harvested the parsnips and collected 100 gold from the farming mission, and I spent the morning fishing until 9 when Pierre's opened up. Let's see how much the parsnips sell for. 525, that's not bad. I definitely want to plant some more. I bought and planted 24 additional parsnip seeds, later calculating that it was only about a 15 gold profit per seed, but hey, at least it's something. While heading back to town, I ran into Lewis at the old house. Oh, okay. We're gonna be over here now. Hello, Lewis. He tells us that the old building used to be a community center and that it used to be really busy, but now everyone just wants to stay inside instead of engaging with the community. As I sit inside playing a game, completely not engaging with my community. Inside the house, I see a mysterious mouse or slime that Lewis doesn't seem to be able to see. He said, "You're weirding me out. I'm just gonna leave." I then head to Robin's to see how much building a coop would cost. 4,000 gold? The journal entry can wait for a while. I pay Clint a visit and buy my first copper ore. Right now, I primarily want to upgrade my fishing pole, and initially I thought it would be upgraded the same way that the pick, hoe, and watering can would be. But after struggling to figure out how to smelt the copper ore into a bar, I realized that the fishing pole can't be upgraded that way anyways, and so not all is lost. I do notice that I can craft a wooden chest to hold some of my additional items. I then head to Willie's shop and realize that he now sells bait, so I buy 20. And at this point, I'm not even sure if we can pick the chest back up after placing it, but since I have been spending so much time at Willie's, I decide to go ahead and place the chest there to open up as much inventory space for fishing as possible. I empty my inventory and then struggle to figure out how to use the fishing bait, and I mean, I struggled with this for a lot longer than I really care to admit, and finally just gave up and went fishing for the rest of the night. Farming reached level 1, granting increased proficiency and the ability to craft fertilizer, and fishing leveled up to level 3, allowing us to craft a crab pot and gave us increased proficiency as well. The next morning, I wake up to Clint forgetting that he sold me the copper ore that I have and that I didn't actually mine it like he said, but he did give me a blueprint for a furnace, so I'm happy. I now sell a deluxe fishing pole to attach bait that makes the fish bite faster. Okay, so that's how we're going to be able to use our bait. I head over to Willie's to start another exciting day of fishing, stopping at 9 to see how much a deluxe fishing pole was going to cost. Only Willie was nowhere to be found. So I go back to fishing, checking inside every so often to see if Willie has maybe shown up, and he never did. And I did this until around 4 p.m. All right, Willie, I'm getting really worried about you now. Anyways, while leaving the beach, who do we find? Willie, what are you doing over here? You're supposed to be in your shop, my friend. I need a deluxe fishing pole. With my eyes set on crafting a scarecrow and some fertilizer, I used my remaining energy on cutting the trees on the farm. And afterwards, I crafted some fertilizer, and then I panicked because I completely forgot to water the crops today. So I eat some seaweed to replenish a little bit of energy, which allowed me to finish watering the crops, ending the day by reaching level 1 in foraging. To avoid the watering issue from yesterday, I go ahead and start the morning by tending to the crops, and then we headed to, yep, you guessed it, to the beach. I fish until 9 when Willie should open up his shop. All right, Willie should be open. Let's hopefully go sell this man some fish. Oh, That is a nice 1100 gold jump. I buy the fiberglass rod and then still struggled to attach the bait. Oh my goodness, this is painful to watch. I finally attach a single piece of bait, and I end up thinking that that is the only way that I can attach it, one at a time. So after each catch, I manually reload the fishing pole with more bait. Somebody please send help. After reloading the bait individually 6 times, I finally figure it out. I can just attach the entire stack. After that, I am unstoppable. Fishing until just after 4 p.m., I sell the newly caught fish to Willie before he closes to bring my total gold back up to 2,450. And wanting to craft a scarecrow, I head over to Clint to buy the one needed charcoal, but he closes at 4 p.m., so that will have to wait. The gold was burning an absolute hole in my pocket, so I stopped by Pierre's and bought my first inventory upgrade. Needing fiber to finish crafting the scarecrow, I started chopping the shrubs with my axe. My poor energy. I do eventually learn how inefficient this is, but because I didn't know that today, I wasted loads of energy, running out by 7 p.m. and then going to bed. At the very least, we were able to reach level 4 in fishing. I start the next morning watering our crops, and I wasted a bit of energy chopping shrubs, and then I bought the charcoal from Clint to finally craft our scarecrow. And with that out of the way, it's time to head to the mines for the very first time. I met Marlin, who gives me my first weapon, and then heading down a nearby shaft, I start mining the nearby rocks. On floor 2, I met the first enemy for any good RPG, a slime. Oh, I thought you were dead. After poking away at him for a while, he did eventually die, leaving a path to the next floor. I used my pickaxe to open a few wooden boxes on this floor, doing the same thing to the containers up top. Again, rest in peace to my early energy. These inefficiencies hurt so much. After mining ore and picking up items, I nearly ran out of energy looking for the path to the next floor, so we end up leaving, reaching level 1 in mining. The next round of parsnips were ready, so I harvest them before heading towards Pierre's. I checked the help wanted board and I noticed that Clint wanted to see 25 copper ore and would let me keep them afterwards. Okay, this should be easy. I'm totally gonna cheat this. Let's go ahead and do it. Fishing until 9 a.m., I sold what I could to Willie and then visited Clint. Thinking that I was clever, I bought enough copper ore from Clint to give me a total of 25, thinking that I could turn them in immediately for the reward. But it turns out that the game tracks if you actually acquired them, so this ended up not working at all. And with the extra copper ore that we now had, I crafted my first furnace. Thankfully, the journal entry pointed me in the right direction for smelting, letting me know that I needed 5 copper ore and 1 coal to smelt a bar. I then headed to the museum where I met Gunther for the first time, who was incredibly sad that he didn't have any display pieces, and he noticed my artifacts and begged me to donate them and any new ones that I found so that he didn't have to stand in an empty museum all day. Feeling bad, I donated the first 3 pieces and then I head to our farm to place the furnace. After placing the copper ore inside, while trying to figure out how to place the coal that I needed, I accidentally hit the furnace with my pick and it moved it back into my inventory, but the ore is gone. Well, at least now I know that I can mine the chest by Willie's if I do want to move it. I then head back to the mines for round number 2. During this trip, my top priority was mining copper veins on each floor and then safely advancing further down. I finished killing 10 slimes for the Adventurers Guild, and I left the mines with 30 copper ore after having used all of my energy, moving from floor 5 to floor 8. In the Adventurers Guild, I upgraded my sword to a wooden sword before heading home to try and smelt one more time. Oh, so you just have to wait long enough. Like it just added the coal for me. Ooh, thanks for the cookies, Ma. Heading to Willie's, I spend the morning fishing until the other shops open up. At 9, I sell my fish, donate another item to the museum, and then I showed Clint the copper ore that he requested. I then head to Pierre's, but remember that he is closed on Wednesdays, so unfortunately no new seeds. So instead, I head to the mines. I start making my way through the mine, finding my first Geodude. And then by pure accident, I made the discovery that wooden boxes can be opened with your sword to be able to save energy. Reaching floor 10, I reached a chest that contained some leather boots, and then I make another huge, well, for me anyways, discovery. Oh, so I don't have to use energy to forge either. I can just go in swinging like Link with his sword. I make it from floor 5 to 13 today before running out of energy, increasing combat to level 1 overnight. You lost your axe? Seems kind of tough to lose, but I'll look for it. Wanting to use some of the copper ore for bars, I start smelting and just stand there and wait. Yikes. For the rest, I at least mow the lawn while I'm waiting. After making 5 bars, it's time to head out. My first stop for the day is Pierre's to sell him the parsnips, and then to Clint's. Ooh, I forgot about the geodes. The price is 25 per geode? Oh, not bad. All right, let's go ahead and upgrade our pick. I forgot that we have to leave it with him. Did he say a couple of days? He did, in fact, say a couple of days. After donating to Gunther's museum, I go to collect the reward. Ooh, a cauliflower seed. Those are pretty pricey, yeah? And with no pickaxe, it was time for my favorite early game activity, fishing. I tested out a few different spots on the pier to see if it made any difference, and that's when I noticed this shiny pool of water. Wonder what this is. Oh, nice animation. Oh, wow, and a bite immediately. After 2 hours at the shiny pool of water, I end up running out of bait. And having caught quite a few fish, I visit Willie before he closes to sell and restock on our bait. Jumping from 40 gold to almost 1,000 gold. I returned to fishing until around 6 p.m. when I grabbed the seeds from Gunther and headed to the farm to plant them. Working on my woodcutting, I used my remaining energy chopping trees and clearing a path to the south. While exploring, I find a nice patch of spring onions to pick, and then I explored just a little bit further before heading to sleep for the night. Our fishing leveled up to level 5, which let us choose our first profession, and since I hadn't used any traps, I immediately went with the fisher option to increase the sell price of fish by 25%. I start the next morning by harvesting the few crops that I have growing, and I make 1 more copper bar before heading to Willie's. On the way, I find a leek and a daffodil, which allows me to craft a pack of spring wild seeds. With the new seeds in hand, I run all the way back to the farm where I juggle smelting copper bars with planting our new seeds, and then I head to Pierre's to sell the parsnips, potatoes, and the spring onions. I make it back to Willie's just before noon, where I sell and restock on bait, which leaves me with around 1,600 gold. I fish until around 4 p.m., where I stop to sell to Willie before he closes for the day. And getting pretty late in the day, I store our fishing gear, and I pull out just about everything else. Don't worry, you guys, I do have a plan. I head to the farm to chop down some trees. Gathering 50 wood allows me to craft another wooden chest, and this is going to allow me to store my farming tools at the house so that I can make sure that I don't forget them at Willie's and have to waste several hours running to the beach to get them just to double back. I store most of my inventory in this new chest, and I turn all of my copper ore into 6 more copper bars before heading to bed. We finally reach level 1 in farming, which allows us to craft a mayonnaise machine as well as a sprinkler, along with increased proficiencies. Day 13 starts by watering the crops and then heading into town. Only I was stopped by the notification that town is being prepared and I won't be able to enter until 9 a.m. So I decided to head south and search for Robin's axe while I waited. Picking the spring onions, I surprisingly found Robin's axe pretty quickly. I then head to town and end up finding a nice merchant who's selling goods. Ooh, and it keeps producing even after the first harvest. Talking with the townspeople, we eventually speak to the mayor. Do I think everyone's ready for the egg hunt? I don't know, Lewis. You're kind of the mayor. That feels like it should probably be part of your responsibility. Oh, wait. Am I hunting eggs with the kids? They don't stand a chance. But they did, in fact, stand a chance, and they beat me silly, which concluded the event, leaving me back at the farm at 10 p.m. Quickly planted my new strawberry seeds, and then I chopped trees to burn the rest of my energy. And we reached level 2 in foraging. After watering the few crops that I had, I head to Willie's to fish for a few hours. After selling off what we caught, I pull out all of our items from the chest, and then I pick it up, and then we finally relocate it. I stop by Clint's to retrieve my pickaxe. I store everything except for the essentials at the farm, and then I head out to the mines. I stop by Robin's along the way to deliver her lost axe. Reaching the mines, I head down the elevator shaft, starting on floor 10. I quickly get swarmed by some bugs, but eventually I do flail my way out. Ooh, thank you, Mom, for the cookies. They were a lifesaver. But after the rough start, I did manage to make some pretty decent progress, advancing all the way to floor 18 before getting too low on health and needing to leave, increasing mining to level 2. The next morning, I jumped straight back into the mines, starting at floor number 15. Armed with a few cherry bombs to help progress, we set out. Using the ore that I mined as I went, I crafted more bombs, which allowed me to quickly reach floor 20, where I got a sword upgrade, and then continued my descent. I made it to floor 25 before needing to leave the mines for the day, and I quickly watered my crops before having plenty of time and calling it a day. Oh no, hurry, 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 hurry. Whew, I didn't think we were gonna make it. I head out first thing to go fishing, but I have to come right back because I moved my chest, the farm, and we needed a fishing pole. This time I stopped by the bridge to fish. The first attempt off of the bridge, the fish was wild. I later find out that it's a catfish that only spawns while it's raining, and it does sell for quite a bit if you can catch it, but for now I was just startled. After catching a few fish, I go to visit Clint to get back an upgraded axe and process a few geodes. Briefly stopping to restock on bait and sell my recent catches, I head back to fishing on the pier for a bit, and then in the afternoon I moved to fishing south of the farm for the rest of the day. The last catch of the day was this slippery guy that took a full minute trying to catch, which was enough for me to call it a night, granting me 6 fishing and some decent money in the process. Whoa, 1,300 from the fish that we caught after 5? Yes, please, and thank you. I spend the morning fishing until 9 when Clint opens, and then with the money from yesterday burning a hole in my pocket, I buy 25 iron ore so that I can smelt them into bars. Heading back to the farm, I start the process for smelting the iron and complete a bit of cardio while waiting. After all, a healthy heart is the best place to start, or something like that. After running exactly 3,305 laps, my iron bar was completed. I grabbed it and then picked up the furnace. I then head to my best friend Clint's house, where I bought 2 more copper ore so that I could craft a second furnace so that I could double my iron output. I set them up precisely blocking this walkway and then proceeded to fish while the bars smelted. After the bars were finished, I head back to the spot south of the farm, not realizing that most of the money from yesterday came from the catfish that I was catching, but it's still decent money, so I spent the rest of the day here. Mom coming in big with some money, thank you, Ma. My portable furnaces and I make our way back to the river to do some early morning fishing. I stop to sell my fish to Willie and then do some shore fishing, trying to earn enough money to upgrade my pickaxe. After selling absolutely everything, I was still a few thousand gold short, so I headed to collect the furnaces and then fish from the bank for the rest of the day. I quickly watered the crops just before heading to bed, reaching level 7 in fishing and netting a few hundred gold in the process. On day 19, I wake up to more rain, and while making my way to my favorite fishing spot, I run across something new. Oh, what's this? I haven't talked to you before. Oh, that is really expensive. I spent the rainy morning at a few different fishing spots before selling my fish to Willie, and then purchasing the pick upgrade from Clint. I now have a few days to wait while my pickaxe upgrades, so I might as well make as much money as I can while waiting. Heading back to my favorite rainy day fishing spot, I spend the rest of the day fishing to earn back some of the money. Eating whenever I got low on energy to extend my fishing time gave me the biggest payday so far, coming in at just over 5,000 gold for the day. Demetrius ambushes me at 7 a.m. in the rain about planting mushrooms in our cave, and I sleepily agree. I harvest a few of the plants that were grown from the wild seeds, and then I craft 50 more to be able to plant. There will be some heartbreak over this eventually, but for now, I just happily plant them. And then I head to fish for a few hours to enjoy the rain. Okay, so we have our next chest. Is this one gonna be more coal? Oh, treasure chest inside of a treasure chest. Chestception. It says it'll fetch a good price, but I wonder exactly how much. Being at exactly 0 energy saved me from becoming overly exhausted, and then forgetting I immediately used the axe and became overly exhausted. I ate a bunch of seaweed so that I didn't have to go to bed at 5 p.m. and then cut down a few trees before going to bed at the ripe hour of 7:30. Whoa, yes, that is a lot of money. Having overexhausted myself the previous day, just watering the crops today used nearly all of my available energy. You start feeling exhausted at 8:20 in the morning. Same, bro, same. I eat seaweed in a variety of places to replenish some energy so that I don't have to go to bed at 8 a.m. Stopping to recover my upgraded pickaxe, I then continue to absolutely devour a heinous amount of seaweed. And then making my way to the mines, I realize I can now mine this rock, but I still have no idea what this guy is here for. Starting at floor 25, I absolutely tear through the early floors of the mine before getting absolutely stuck on floor 34 for 6 hours. Mining almost every rock in the room, I eventually have to evacuate with it being so late. I start some iron bars smelting and then call it quits for the day, reaching level 3 mining in the process. Ready for the next day, I went back to tackle the mines. Starting at floor 30, I was able to make it all the way down to floor 40, where I received a slingshot. Ooh, nice, some ranged weapon. I wonder if it's gonna be any good. and it turns out that I didn't like it at all and eventually banked it into oblivion, never to be used again. Heading back to the farm, I realized that I never watered my crops this morning, so I have myself a nice midnight snack of algae. I'm able to water most, but not all of the crops. I start some iron smelting, and then it's time for some sleep. I start the next day by picking my crops that were ready. My goodness, this is like all of my energy. I wonder if it's even worth it at this point. I sell the harvested strawberries, I turn my watering can into Clint for an upgrade, and then I head to work in the mines for the rest of the day. Managing to reach floor 50, I get a pair of new stylish boots for the trouble. With no watering can, I head straight to the mines to start exploring at 7 a.m. Everything is going well, that is until I reach floor 53, which is going to prove quite annoying. Having to destroy all but 2 of the rocks in the room, I finally find the exit almost 3 hours later. By 6 p.m., I was fighting for my life just trying to reach floor 60, and I just barely managed to make it, which gave me a crystal dagger as a reward. I wonder if this is going to be any better than the slingshot. The stats are okay. Ooh, shank, shank, shank. Low range might be a problem, but we'll see. I catch a quick fish in this stray pond and then head back home for a little bit of light lumberjacking before bed, reaching level 4 in mining and 3 in combat. All right, let's test out our prison shank. It's pretty sharp. All right, okay. Yeah, not to be ungrateful, but I don't think I like it. Switching back to the longsword, I continue pushing to reach floor 70 and get a little bit surrounded. Ooh, we might get our first death. No, I don't want to die. Okay, let's find the exit. Never mind. All right, so what happens whenever we die? Whoa, that much money? I may never financially recover from this. Having time to kill and no energy or health to spare, I stop by the Adventurers Guild and realize he's offering several new equipment upgrades, jumping up to a level 5 sword with much higher DPS than my last weapon. Armed with our geodes and iron bars, I start the day at Clint's, regaining my watering can, cracking the geodes, donating generously, and realizing I forgot the axe that I wanted to upgrade. I then returned home, and then remembering that I forgot to water the crops, I go ahead and do that. I get distracted and chop a couple of trees, and then we return to Clint. Never mind, just kidding. We're gonna make a pit stop on the beach to pick up a few shells. And if you're thinking, oh boy, it's getting awfully late and Clint closes at 4, you're cutting it pretty close, well, you would be right, because I make it there right at 4 whenever he closed and locked the doors, and I heard him chuckling as he walked away. So with almost no energy left to do anything, I decided to take a look at my journal to see what tasks could be completed, and then I decided to stop by the community center to check out the rat problem. Running in, I notice a cute mouse. I head over to him, and as soon as I get close, he disappears. So I decide to read the nearby gibberish on this page. I look around at the rest of the house and double-check the language on the page just to make sure it was gibberish before shrugging the day off as a loss and returning home to spend my solitude cutting trees. But we did at least reach level 3 in foraging. I wake up to a beautiful piece of parchment from a wizard telling me he knows something about my rat problem, so like all irresponsible people, I completely ignore him. I water my crops, drop by Clint's to drop off my axe for an upgrade to steel finally, and then head to the mines. It's time to test the new blade. I think it's gonna be pretty good. He died in like 2 swings. This is such a huge upgrade. Managing to reach floor 70 for the day, I acquired the master straight to the chestinator and called it a night. I start the next day wasting about 25% of my daily energy watering crops on day 28. And there are several that are ready for harvest, but I decide to hold off so that I can harvest everything together when the rest are ready. I then head to the mines trying to find gold ore so I can get better upgrades or to find the bottom to complete our journal entry. Reaching floor 80 gave me more stylish shoes, but I'm not finished there. Using bombs and cave carrots, I managed to reach floor 85 before calling it quits to head home for the day. I smelt my first few gold bars and then head to bed. And just like that, I did it. I survived the entire first season in Stardew Valley with not a single mistake at all. Oh no, they're all dead. Oh, even the ones that were ready to harvest died. Well, at least now we know. Waiting for Clint and Pierre to open, I did a bit of bridge fishing to kill time until 9. After recovering the upgraded axe, I grabbed my seed reward from Gunther and then headed to Pierre's where I browsed the available seeds and ended up buying 28 blueberry seeds based on how well the strawberries from last season did. I craft some fertilizer, clear and bury our dead plants, plant what I bought, Realize I didn't have enough, I buy more seeds, and then I plant those as well. And not knowing about the community center bundles yet, I threw all of last season's harvest into the box to be sold. After watering the crops, I spent the rest of the night and energy on chopping down trees. I started the day doing my cute little water dance. Water, water, water. I accept a help wanted for 30 copper ore and then head to the mines, where I started in the easier levels to focus on copper, but I ended up running out of energy very, very quickly. So I return home, I smelt the ore that I'm supposed to be giving to Clint, and I go to bed. At 3 p.m. This hurts so much. I want to go back and tell myself just fish and then eat the fish, or anything other than going to bed at 3 p.m. I wake up the next morning after sleeping for a marathon amount of time to written proof that the mayor lost his pants somewhere embarrassing, and then I head straight for the mines, jumping down to level 85. On floor 89, I was welcomed by a lot of mushrooms, which should sell for a decent amount of money, and I didn't realize that at the time, but should be some decent foraging experience as well. On floor 90, I was gifted with an obsidian edge, which looked like a pretty clear upgrade to my current sword. Low on energy, I figured that this would be a good time to leave for the day. Stopping by the guild to sell my old equipment and monster loot, and then watering the crops, I made this discovery. What? I get a bit too excited about this feature and I overexert myself. The only food that I had on me was Jody's cauliflower, so I devoured it and watered the rest of the crops. I craft a tapper. I try to put it on this tree stump before realizing I had to place it on a fully grown tree, and overnight I reached level 5 in combat. Today I checked out Demetrius's fungus for the first time since he planted it almost a full season ago, and after doing a bit of experimenting, it looked like watering 3 plots at once was costing a bit more energy than a single square at a time. And this might not be the case where sometimes it takes 1 and other times 2 energy due to a fractional cost, but it convinced me to water 1 square at a time for now. I then headed out for my daily cave descent, starting at floor 90. While trying to reach floor 100, I reached a boss floor while running pretty low on health and die. Oh no, not again. What's the damage going to be this time? Okay, that honestly could have been much worse. Reaching level 5 mining, I choose the miner profession to get more ore per vein. I start the day harvesting some fungi and then head to floor 60 in the mines to try fishing for the ghost fish again, and got nothing but junk, so I decided to head back down into the mines, where I was able to reach floor 100. Whoa, so it kind of looks like when Link acquired the Triforce in A Link to the Past. Ooh, did that just increase our maximum energy? I take a quick break from spelunking to fish in the lava water and get nothing but trash, so I moved on. I was able to reach floor 105 before leaving because of a full inventory, and with a lot of energy left, I used the rest of the day to cut down trees to make sure that it doesn't go to waste. Reaching level 8 in fishing from the 10 casts that we made today, and level 4 foraging. Looking to upgrade my pickaxe to gold, I needed a bit more money, so I started the day by watering the crops and then moved on to fishing. Whoa, Willie, it kind of sounds like you kidnapped somebody back there. Okay, Willie, you're really starting to worry me. And he's just gone. I guess we're not going to be selling today. I use 300 wood to patch up the bridge to this little island. I collect the items and then head back home to dump everything into the sell bin. Using my remaining energy, I cut more trees on the farm, I harvest the mushrooms, and then head to bed at 7:40 p.m. Please, why do I do this so often? I know better now, I promise you guys. This is painful. The only positive here is that I did make a decent amount from the items that were sold overnight. I wake up the next morning and immediately use 1/3 of my energy watering plants again. If only there was a machine I don't know, a sprinkler that could do this for me. Couldn't be. I then harvest the cave shrooms, and then having reached 10,000 gold, I head to my buddy Clint's to have him upgrade my pickaxe to gold. I then spend the rest of the day fishing, trying to earn back some of the money that I just spent. Whoa, that is a fast fish. If he's that hard to catch, I bet he's going to be worth a lot. And I do end up catching the fast fish the next time that he bit. One of the legendary fish. I hope he sells for a legendary amount. I catch a few more fish and then head over to Kidnapper Willie's. Whoa, almost 3,000 gold? Yes, we will take that money. And with my newfound wealth, I decide to finally pay Robin a visit and have her build a coop for the farm. And then I head back to my favorite fishing spot where I fished until 9 p.m. and then I threw the new catches into the box to sell, netting almost another 2,000 gold for a very profitable day. I play the role of a magician, making 1/3 of my energy disappear while watering crops, and then I go to pick the mushrooms from the cave. While exploring, I interrupt 2 kids that were playing in sewage, and decide to finally meet the wizard of the valley, who turns out to be just a peeping Tom, spying on these poor creatures he calls Junimos. He then gives me some crazy soup that makes me think that I'm a tree or something, which allows me to read and speak gibberish. Heading to the community center, I realized that I wouldn't be able to complete the first set of bundles because I needed spring foraging, which we had sold. Up to this point, I had been selling just about everything that I gather, but it's around this point in the game, as the farm started taking off and becoming more self-sufficient, that I became a pretty big pack rat and held on to almost everything, not knowing when I might need an item for something. Needing to gather wood and hardwood for the bundles, I head back to the farm to cut some trees. Having picked up some of the grapes and a spiceberry on the way, I complete my first bundle, which gave me 30 wild seeds as a reward. Rest in peace to my energy if I plant those. At that point, a second and third gibberish scroll pop up, one of which being a pantry for crops and the other being a fishing tank for, well, a variety of fish. I spend the rest of the evening and energy chopping trees. And it's my favorite time of the day again, time to manually water all of my plants. Seriously though, I think I bit off a little bit more than I could chew with these plants without having any sprinklers set up. I head to Clint's to get my upgraded pick. I buy 25 copper ore, take a leisurely walk on the beach, restock on bait, smelt the copper into bars, harvest mushrooms. Whew, that was a long list of stuff. After smelting 5 copper bars, I pay Clint to take my hoe for a couple of days, and then head to the community center to complete the construction bundle. This gave a charcoal kiln as a reward and unlocked another gibber scroll. And then at 5 p.m. I finally decided to head to the mines, reaching floor 108 before running out of energy. Ending the absolutely chaotic day, I reached level 5 in combat and chose to be a fighter, not a lover. With my coop finally being completed, I collected the 100 gold journal reward. I watered the plants, harvested some oak resin from my tree tapper, and then hit my daily dose of shrooms before heading to the community center to complete my first and second furnace bundle. This gave me my first piece of jewelry, another furnace, and it unlocked 2 more scrolls. Spending the rest of the day in the mines, I picked up some space boots at floor 110, and then continued down to floor 115 before leaving for the night, which allowed me to reach level 6 in mining, which taught me the recipe for crafting bombs. I wake up, do my happy little water dance, grab some mushrooms, and then head to Pierre's, but it's locked because of the beach festival. Oh, that's right, the festival's today. There is no way that you'd ever catch me. So there I was at the beach festival where I was supposed to add something to the soup and entirely forgot, ruining the entire event. Which brings us back home at 10 p.m. where I spend the rest of the night chopping wood before going to bed. Good morning, Stardew Valley. It's time again to spend a half of my energy watering plants, and it looks like I woke up with already 1/3 being gone, so today is shaping up to be a day for sure. I watered the crops, and then after that I spent most of the morning trying to figure out where I could buy livestock. Finally, there you are. I bought my first chicken and named it Clucker. Not the best choice, but I stand by it. And then I bought my second one and named him Buck, and this one I don't necessarily stand by. Figuring out that the animals needed hay to eat, I place exactly 2 pieces and call it quality, and then head to the mines. I eventually make it to floor 120 where I get a skull key that at this point I have no idea what to do with. Maybe it has something to do with this guy that's sitting next to the chest. No, it doesn't seem so. On my way home, I stop by the community center to complete another adventure bundle, and as a reward, the little gibbermen surround me and agree to fix the minecarts. And on my way back home, I pass out from the exhaustion at 2 a.m. Waking up with less than half energy was definitely not fun, but at least it was raining, so I didn't have to worry about watering the crops. I go to test the fixed minecarts, which is going to let me fast travel between Clint's, the bus stop, and the mines to help cut down a little bit on walking time. I check what it would take to build a silo to help keep up with feeding my chickens, and then I buy more blueberry seeds. Oh no, I hope the payoff is worth the cost. Till the soil and plant the new blueberry seeds, and since it's raining and I'm broke, I head fishing. And I stay there until my energy gets low and then dump the fish, which gives me a 1,300 gold profit. Thankfully, the next morning it's still raining and it's finally time to harvest most of the crops. After harvesting everything, I head to Pierre's to sell. Oh my goodness, this is great. It's not fun using all of my energy, but this is a lot of gold. With the profits from selling the harvest, I buy a lot of melon seeds to start expanding my melon empire. I stopped by the community center to complete the summer crops bundle, giving 1 quality sprinkler as a reward. And it's time to expand the crop field and plant all of the new melon seeds that I picked up. And with the melon money burning a hole in my pocket, I bought 2 more chickens and a stack of hay. And to take the edge of the day off, I spent almost the rest of the night fishing. Returning home briefly to cut down trees, find an old statue that says Grandpa will return on year 3. What? And that's weird enough for me. I think it's time for bed. Reaching level 3 and 4 farming and 5 in foraging, where I regrettably chose Forester over the Gatherer option. My thought of the time was on the farm upgrades like Barn, which all required a decent amount of wood. Watering an empire takes time, dedication, patience, and most importantly, energy. Half of my energy to be exact. After watering the crops with my abundance of energy, I chop some trees. I then go and buy 30 more watermelon seeds, and I am internally screaming at myself right now. If I had been consistently using food to extend my days, I'd be fine with this. But without using food, this is terrifying. Heading back to the farm, I collect my first 2 eggs and then go and grab some fish, grab some mushrooms to restore energy. No, I go to bed at 6 p.m. Are you guys disappointed in me? I'm disappointed in me. It gets better, I promise. It turns out running an empire without workers or automated sprinklers is a lot of work. I start the morning expanding the planting area, planting and watering all of the crops, which took until 1 p.m. After that, I kind of start looking like that man from Breaking Bad that was digging a hole in his yard. I was looking for clay so that I could build a silo to get free hay and have a place to store it. And in the process, I overexert myself. And that, boys and girls, is how I spent an entire introverted day all by myself on my farm without leaving and went to bed at 6 p.m. I spend the next morning preparing some breakfast, just collecting the eggs. I didn't actually eat any food. That would be a little bit too productive. I then water the melons to protect the empire, running out of energy midway through, so remembering that my fungus cave exists, I pick the shrooms to eat, right? Oh, thank goodness. I would have probably canceled this video if I didn't eat and went to bed at 11 a.m. I finish watering the crops and then start tripping on the mushrooms that I had been eating because I dig everywhere. I feel like I've dug everywhere, and I'm pretty sure this is how I got the clay before, but maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. The next morning is payoff time. It's time to harvest several blueberries and tomatoes to sell. After harvest, I water the empire, collect mushrooms, sell off a boatload of blueberries, and to make a good day great, I finally found enough clay to have Robin install a silo. Okay, tomorrow then. I make a quick stop at the upper level of the mines to collect a cave carrot, and then use it to complete the community center bundle, rewarding 5 Autumn's bounty. With a bit of extra money burning a hole in my pockets, I buy the 2500 bundle from the vault, earning a chocolate cake as a reward. And assuming that this fancy food would be expensive, I throw it into the box to sell and then did some light foraging to end the day. After watering the crops, I finally get to go buy the silo to make my animal routine easier. I stop by the saloon after a hard day's work to play a video game inside of a video game. Eventually I get bored, so I had to do a little bit of light fishing, and then I round out the day with some foraging. And it's time again for some eggs, mushrooms, water, foraging, and fishing, and then calling it a day. Nothing really eventful happened here. The next morning was eggs, water, collecting some hay with my scythe, mushrooms, before stopping by Robin's to have her build me a barn, and then finishing the day with, you guessed it, foraging. Reaching level 5 farming, where I picked the tiller profession so that my crops would sell for more. Good morning. Isn't that a beautiful sight to behold? You smell that? That smells like money. After harvesting, watering, and grabbing mushrooms, it was time to sell off the day's harvest. And with the extra money and big melon payday coming up soon, I bought the 10,000 and 5,000 gold bundle, leaving only the 25,000 gold bundle before we can unlock the bus. All right, I think the energy rod will go here. Ooh, actually, channeling lightning directly at the house seems like it might be a bad idea. Ah, well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I then move my singular tapper from one tree to another before spending a bit of time cleaning out the space in front of the house, with the goal of eventually reorganizing my buildings. After that, I use some of the mushrooms for energy and I fish for the rest of the evening. You have no idea how happy this makes me. It's one of those things that while playing for the first time, it's easy to overlook just how much more you can do just by eating to extend each day versus going to bed at 7 p.m. After watering our empire, collecting eggs and mushrooms, it was time to fish for the rest of the day, reaching level 9 and granting just under 3,000 gold. Mushroom, eggs, water, and it was time to start the actual day. And with the barn upgrade complete, it was time to buy my first 4 cows and a milk pail. And it was just then that I realized, oh, Mayor Sir, you're already here. Why don't you go get them yourself? It was now going to be my job to slowly woo Marnie so that I could sneak the mayor's shorts away from her room. And then it was time to do a little light foragery. The melons are so close to being ripe now that I can taste it. I can taste the money. I water, pick mushrooms, and then head to donate to Gunther, who gives me a pack of ancient seeds as a reward, which I quickly head back and plant. Right here. Trying to further advance my foraging level, I spend the rest of the day cutting down trees, and I do manage to reach level 6 in foraging. Day number 54 is monumental for me. I wake up to some much appreciated rainfall, and most of the melons and crops are ready for harvest. After harvesting all of the blueberries and melons, I then went to sell the results, to which I said, "Oh my god." Earning 25,000 gold from the harvest, I would say it was probably worth the struggle to pull off. I do wish I would have used more food to extend my days, but this money is very nice to have. I then go and spend all 25,000 of it immediately on the vault bundle to finish off the bus repair, which gives me a crystallarium as a reward. I immediately place it and put a diamond inside for duplication. All right, you guys, it's time for my favorite activity. Fishing. I do that for most of the rest of the day, but before going to bed, I do my favorite nighttime activity, chopping trees. From the last harvest, my farming level reaches 6 and unlocks the quality sprinkler recipe, which is going to be one of the biggest improvements I could make for my farm for a very long time. And we also jumped to 7 farming as well. Mom was very sweet and baked and shipped us a cake, which I immediately threw in the garbage. Afterwards, I took a look at what it would take to craft quality sprinklers. Needing iron and gold bars and some refined quartz, I headed to my chest to see what I had saved. I pulled out 2 different types of quartz and charcoal and was able to place the fire quartz into the furnace. I then placed regular quartz into the other 2 furnaces. Watering the crops that were remaining, I ended up getting the refined quartz that I was needing, and I ended up crafting a total of 8 before switching to smelting gold bars. And I'm so glad that I switched to hoarding everything, because I have 80 gold, 30 iron, and 10 iron bars already prepped and ready to go. While waiting on the gold to finish smelting, the crystallarium spit out a quartz for me to collect. At the time, I thought it was kind of strange that my diamond produced a quartz, but I shrugged it off and kept it in place. I grabbed the gold bars and crafted my first homemade quality sprinkler. And just like that, it's on. One more day to craft as many quality sprinklers as possible to make farming next season a breeze. Sticking around the farm to smelt my gold bars, I spend the rest of the day clearing trees. After crafting and placing 3 more sprinklers, I go ahead and call it a night. And it's time for melon harvest number 2 and the last day of the season. I pick up the sprinklers to prepare to move and line them up with any new ones that I craft today. I clear old plants and line up the sprinklers that I have and stay around the farm cutting trees while turning quartz and gold into additional bars. I craft 3 more just before heading to bed, which should cover just about the entire farming plot that we already have. A new season means new crops, so I spent the morning resetting the planting ground and then expanding with 1 more sprinkler. I milked my cows for the first time. You can now add that to my daily morning routine along with the chickens. Even if I don't show it or mention it, it likely happened. I realized that selling milk and eggs daily is around a 600 gold profit, which is nice for how little time it takes to manage. Strawberries and blueberries, or seeds that continue to be harvestable after the first harvest, have been the most profitable for me so far, so I jumped straight in and I bought 40 cranberry seeds to start the fall season off right. I then bought a few pumpkin seeds and 1 of each of the other seeds so that I could complete the necessary bundles. You know what, let's go ahead and add 10 more cranberry seeds. I planted the cranberries and pumpkins, and I realized that I still have a lot of space left for additional seeds. Unfortunately, it was too late to buy any more from Pierre for the day, so I finished off the day with some light tree cutting. I start the next morning by grabbing the farming collectibles and some seasonal forageables before heading into town, where Robin told us that she was requesting hardwood for a bed. I guess I look forward to helping, and Lewis expected it from us. This town is so weird. Shaking off the advances from Robin, I head to Pierre's where I buy 54 more pumpkin seeds. If you thought the melon empire was big, pumpkin season is going to be a game changer. After planting the pumpkin seeds, it's time to head to the desert for the very first time. Looking around, I notice a set of 3 pillars that I've seen in other games for gems or crystals to be able to direct or harness light or power, similar to like a chaos crystal from Sonic. And then moving on, I find the entrance to the Skull Caverns. And we are about to get humbled very quickly. Ooh, these things are fast. I could see it being pretty easy to get overwhelmed if there's a lot of these at once. All right, let's try to take out these big slimes. I think I'm safe because they can't fit where we're at. Whoa, he spawned so many small slimes. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. For the accident, I was charged 500 gold and 1,000 gold worth of items, so maybe I'll wait a little while before revisiting. I decided to sleep off the sorrows of the humbling that I just took and start again fresh the next day. After the morning routine, the first thing that I wanted to do was head to the Adventure Guild to collect my weapon, but it wasn't open, so I did a little bit of fishing to kill some time. Once the guild opened, before paying to retrieve my items, I checked the store and found a much more powerful lava katana that I could buy for 25,000 gold. This would be such a huge upgrade and would help me be able to clear more of the caverns, and since it would only be about 4 more days before my cranberries were ready to harvest, I decided to not retrieve my old stuff at all. Having some time to kill and needing a big surge of money, I headed to my comfort skill fishing, which I did for the rest of the day. Quartz, eggs, milk, and mushroom out of the way, my first stop was the community center to donate my mushroom, which gave me 30 fall seeds as a reward. I'm honestly not sure why I don't plant them, but at this time we don't. It was then time to fish, which I did for a few hours before returning home to chop some wood before bed. I had some extra wood lying around I thought you could use. Okay, Robin, sheesh. Just let me breathe. We should go see her. To get a coop upgrade, you guys, a coop upgrade. To clear my head a little bit, I had to fish for a while before returning home to chop trees and clear rocks from the farm for the rest of the night. I did my dailies, grabbed some pine tar, and then spent most of the day fishing. And at this point, I was starting to try to woo Marnie to acquire the mayor's pants by giving her quartz, since the crystallarium is still producing it at this point. And then I chopped trees for the rest of the night. Robin finishes upgrading my coop, so I immediately head to Marnie's, but having to wait until 9, I go ahead and fish to kill the time. With the coop upgrade, I'm able to raise ducks as well, so I purchased 2. I gifted Marnie another quartz, and then I returned to fishing until it started getting late, where I switched to chopping wood before bed. It might make for boring days, but it is a decent daily profit while waiting for the crops to grow for our bigger payday. It is a wonderful morning. Our cranberries are ready to be harvested. I immediately pick the cranberries, go to sell them to see how much money they sell for, and I was not disappointed, profiting about 6,000 gold and then switching over to fishing since it's raining. I fish off the bridge for about 6 hours before stopping by the community center to complete one of the fish bundles and then moving up towards the mines to continue fishing. After fishing for several more hours, I head back to the farm to do a little wood cutting and then bed. Zombies might not be in my head, but the cranberries definitely are. I start the morning by harvesting another 58 cranberries. Stopping by Pierre's to sell the daily haul, I jumped from 17,000 to 24,000 gold. After that, I fished for a few hours so that I could get another 1,000 gold so that I could buy the lava katana from the guild. And it wouldn't be a good investment if I didn't immediately try it out. So I head down to floor 110 of the mines to see how well it does. Okay, so the first enemy, let's see how it goes. Much faster. Before entering the mines, I had accepted a quest from the wizard to find ectoplasm from a ghost, so I spent the rest of the day ghost hunting. Passing out in the mines, I reached level 8 in farming and level 10 in fishing, picking the fishing profession to increase the sell price of fish by 50%. The goodest boy was the baddest of boys this morning by not letting me go outside, and once I finally got out, I suited up like a ghostbuster and headed to the mines. I killed several more ghosts, but didn't get any ectoplasm drops. I was starting to think that maybe this was not the right monster that dropped the drop. But I was committed at this point, so I kept trying, spending the entire day searching, but I ended up being unsuccessful. However, all of that killing did allow me to reach level 6 combat. The next day I finally worked up the courage to attempt the Skull Cavern again, thinking that maybe that would be the key to finding the ectoplasm that I needed. It was going pretty well, at least until floor 9. I ended up spending all of my energy plus a few mushrooms, a few bombs, and 6 hours searching for the ladder, but was unsuccessful, so I ended up having to leave, reaching level 7 mining in the process. Jumping right back into the mines looking for ectoplasm, I'm starting to think ghosts and ghost hunting might all be fake. All right, we got another ghost. I honestly, I don't even know if this is the right, I don't even know if this is the right monster anymore, but I'm gonna keep trying. Oh, is that it? I can't believe it's real. I had the drop, but since I was already there, I figured I might as well explore as much of the skull caverns as I could. And things were going pretty well, and eventually I made it to a level 20 boss floor with several dinosaur-looking creatures. All right, let's see what these guys do. Oh, it's a flamethrower. That's actually pretty cool, but pretty scary at the same time. I managed to clear several of the dinosaurs, but eventually I was turned into human toast. Oh no, he was one hit away. Okay. What's the damage going to be this time? Okay, 1,000 gold. What about my items? No, that's my entire stack of coal. Don't want to know how much that costs to retrieve. Being defeated, I headed to the wizard to deliver his ectoplasm, getting a reward of 2,500 gold and then doing some smelting before bed. Determined to make today a better day, I started out harvesting some cranberries and sold them to Pierre first thing so that I could get Robin to upgrade my barn. Then after smelting the needed bars, I crafted 6 more sprinklers. Yes, as many sprinklers as we can possibly make. It is time to upgrade this pumpkin patch. After placing the new sprinklers, I tilled the dirt to prep for the new plants. Thinking that this square was a weed or something, I try to till it, and when that doesn't work, I attack it. Whew, okay, it's safe for now. After smelting the remaining gold into bars, I craft and place 2 more sprinklers, and then it's time for my default energy-wasting activity, tree cutting. I woke up to a small batch of pumpkins and some cranberries being ready to harvest. I sold every last one and bought 70 more pumpkin seeds. We're not in the pumpkin business. We're in the empire business. As I'm fertilizing and planting the pumpkin seeds, the unthinkable happens. Yeah, that was the ancient seed. I finish planting the pumpkin seeds and continue wooing Marnie. I think we should probably experiment with crafting some of these. Cheese press and mayonnaise maker could probably get a bit more gold out of the chickens and cows. Realizing I needed maple syrup to make a honey hut, I decided to move the singular tree tap that I crafted. I then craft a loom and a keg to test the waters with each. Realizing how late it was getting, I mine and axe away the debris from the farm, start smelting a few more gold bars, and oh no, hurry. Calculated. Ooh, it is pumpkin time. After harvesting the pumpkins, I throw 1 into a keg to compare how much it sells for after being processed, and head to sell the rest. Oh my God. Money. I pay Robin 10,000 gold to upgrade my house, thinking I might get some use out of having a kitchen. I start fishing, but remember that I need to replenish the pumpkins that I harvested, so I buy 40 more pumpkin seeds and plant them. But I end up being a little bit short, so I make a mad dash to Pierre's, trying to reach it before 5, and we don't make it. I then head to give Marnie a nut, a hazelnut, but it wasn't good enough for Marnie to let me into our bedroom, so we leave. Spending the rest of the day doing some light forestry and reaching level 9 farming overnight. An explosion was heard during the night. Ooh, is that iridium? Our pick should be strong enough to mine it, right? It's a lot of swings, but we can. I'm sad to report that we didn't do anything with the iridium for now, but it is nice to have some in the chest and know that we're able to mine it if we come across it. Head down to woo Marnie, but her door is locked because of today's festival. So I head to see what the excitement is all about, stopping by the vendor first to see if there's anything good. Oh, a star drop. That's what we picked up at the mines that gave extra energy, right? Okay, so now we need to figure out how to get 2,000 stars. I test my strength and find out I'm as strong as a gym coach. I stop by a slingshot booth, one that just sells the stars, a roulette table, and finally one that I stick with, a fishing booth. It ends up being just a fishing minigame where you try to catch as many fish as fast and efficiently as you can. I played the game once more and then threw my various junk onto the table to show off and then went to fish a little bit more. I did do a bit better the second time around. All right, let's see what they think of my hodgepodge items. Oh, they hate them. Well, I thought they were pretty cool. After getting my items roasted, I played the fishing game 2 more times to finish getting 2,000 stars, and then I bought the star drop. After leaving the event, it was 10 p.m., so I used as much of my energy on woodcutting as I could before it got too late, reaching level 7 foraging overnight. You know, I just had a thought. I don't think this is ever going to give me a diamond. I think somehow it changed into holding a quartz instead of the diamond. Oh my, how did that even happen? It's been like 30 days that I thought a diamond was in there, just eventually gonna replicate. I headed to Marnie's first thing to buy goats for my upgraded barn. Okay, 1,000 stones in 5 days. That shouldn't be too hard, right? I accepted the 1,000 stone quest and head to the mines. But it turns out that it was, in fact, pretty hard to accomplish. I take a brief break from the mines at 2 p.m. to check the inventory at the guild, and I realized that there are enemy kill goals that I could push for. Since I hadn't had much luck in the Skull Caverns, I decided to dedicate a few days in the mines, killing as many enemies as possible. I spent from 4 p.m. to midnight progressing through the dungeon before heading to chop wood before bed. Ooh, run, 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 run. Oh, well. It's time again to harvest some cranberries, sell them, buy replacement seeds, only this time I had enough extra cash that I decided to buy the second backpack upgrade. I plant and water the seeds that I bought, I craft a cheese press and a mayo machine to see how useful they are, loading milk into the cheese machine and then heading off to the mines. Staying there until 8:30 when I headed back to the farm. Alright, so let's check out our cheese. Whoa, 100 health and 225 energy. And I can easily get 4 or more of these a day. That's huge. I threw the cheese and a milk into the sell bin to see how much profit I would make from transforming them into cheese, and I was pretty impressed with the increase. Several cranberries are ready to harvest, and the pumpkin juice from the keg is also ready. I was so happy with the cheese press that I made and placed a second one right away. And armed with this morning's eggs, I throw one into the mayo machine, and without even testing the profit margins, I make 3 more and 2 more cheese presses. This should be able to give me a pretty significant increase in daily profit and viable food for exploration. All right, so let's check the pumpkin juice. 720 gold? A melon is like what, 200? So having a lot of kegs at some point could be pretty amazing. I sell off my harvest and head to Marnie's to complete a journal quest where she had requested some amaranth, which bumps up our friendship level enough where I'm able to enter her bedroom, steal the mayor's dirty shorts, and then leave. And then it's back to the mines I go. Having only mined around 200 rocks in the 3 days that I've had the quest, the outcome is really not looking great, but I do want to level mining and combat, so I'm going to continue trying for now. I stayed at the mines until 10:30 p.m. when I headed towards the farm to do some late night woodcutting to end the night, making almost 1,700 gold profit for the day and not even maxing out what I could craft or sell. I reload the egg and cheese as part of my new morning routine, and then it's back to the mines where I stay for the entire day. I complete my daily morning reset and then make it to the mines by 10 a.m. And I spend until midnight exploring, but I don't come anywhere near the rock goal. Oh well, at least we're a little bit closer to maxing out mining and combat, reaching level 7 combat for the night. I start the day reloading the mayo and cheese machine like normal, and then look at my skills, realizing that farming will easily be maxed at 10, but mining, combat, and foraging might be an issue by day 100. Mining and combat would at least be an easy tag team since they typically level up around the same time. So to keep working towards my goal of having all max stats, where do we go? You guessed it, the mines. Spending the entire day there, I was able to reach level 8 mining, gaining the recipe to craft mega bombs. I harvest the cranberries that are ready, craft an oil machine that makes truffle oil thinking it would require mushrooms to make, but I couldn't for the life of me get it to work, so I just moved on grabbing maple syrup from the tree tap and then crafting a bee house. I reload the cheese and mayo machines and then sell off a portion of the cheese and mayo that I had been hoarding, jumping up almost 13,000 gold, and then it's back to the mines where I spend the rest of the day. Good morning, world. It's cranberry harvest day, so you know it's going to be a great day. I harvest the crops, reset the mayo and cheese machines, and then head to see Robin to upgrade my big coop to deluxe, and then right back to the mines I go. Finally profit checking 4 cheese and 4 mayo, it looks like I'll be able to make 2,000 gold a day from tending to the animals, not including days that I get goat milk. After my morning duties, it's time to grind the mine some more, where I spend the entire day, but don't get any level ups. At this point, I'm just going to add resetting the mayo and cheese machines to our daily routine because I'm going to be doing it each morning. I noticed an owl statue had appeared on the farm, so I picked it up and put it next to my mouse statue, and I reset the mayo and cheese machines one extra time for the day, and it's finally time to head to the mines, focusing on the harder levels to get more combat and mining XP, where I make it from floor 110 to 120 before heading home for the night. Good morning, the pumpkins are ripe, honey is made, so it's gonna be a great day. I harvest the pumpkins and the deluxe coop upgrade has been completed, so it's time to buy a few rabbits to help complete the community bundle and finally let me test out the loom. And then it's time for my shift at the mines, clocking in at 12:50 p.m. and out at 1 a.m. for a long but productive shift. Reaching level 10 farming, I chose the artisan profession to allow my cheese and mayo to sell for more. Second harvest on the last day of the month, giving me approximately 3,000 pumpkins and 2,000 cranberries to sell. Before selling my items, I finish off the fall crop bundle, and then it's time to sell. Whoa, 32,000 just from this stack. Oh my gosh. That's right, the pumpkin empire has paid off pretty well this season, giving me quite a bit of extra spending money, jumping from 2,000 gold to 75,000. So I finally decided it's time to upgrade my axe to gold, and spending a little bit more, I stopped by Robin's to have her upgrade our barn to deluxe. And then it's straight to the mines to finish off the day, finally sneaking home at 1 a.m. and reaching level 8 combat. A new month means it's time to reset the crops. So I started heading towards town and I was greeted by this creepy fellow. Hello? I mean, of course I'm gonna chase you. I see your footprints. You're not going to be able to hide from me. A magnifying glass that gives access to secret notes. That sounds pretty cool. With the shadow guy out of the way, it was time to forage for some of the winter wild harvests. Oh, are these worms in the ground? Have these always been here? All right, I wonder if I'm able to dig them up. All right, no on the scythe, pickaxe. Okay, I'll come back later. Let's try using a hoe on them. Ooh, nice, a winter root. So we headed out to find more. I spent the majority of the day hoeing up worms and foraging wild goods before finally finding a snow yam at 6 p.m., which allowed me to craft my first set of winter wild seeds. These little guys are going to be my end goal for trying to finish off level 10 foraging before the end of day 100, allowing me to plant, forage, and then craft more with the products so that I can snowball how many I have planted. After planting the 10 seeds, I clear up around the farm to spend at least a little bit of energy before bed. To start snowballing my winter wild seeds, I'll need way more than 10, so after the morning routine, I had to search for more winter yams. I found several berries, but no more worm spots. So I eventually made my way to Clint's to pick up my golden axe so that I could cut trees to use my remaining energy and go to bed guilt-free. I bought a few heaters for my animals to help make sure that they were happy during the winter, and then while cutting trees near Marnie's, I remembered that I was able to get clay from just tilling soil before, so I took a few swings to see if I could find any more wild yams. And just like that, I was able to find 4 more, which let me craft 40 more winter seeds, which I planted right away. And while cutting wood around the farm, I managed to find 1 more yam, which meant 10 more seeds, if I could hurry and plant them. Still needing to water the seeds, I managed to hit a few, but eventually had to run to bed to avoid the pass-out fee. On day 4 of the month, it's time to head back to the mine grind, where I spend the entire day reaching mining level 9. I spend the early morning searching for wild harvest around the map and eventually find the lady in the wagon selling some really expensive items. And while walking away, I noticed a hardwood log at the top corner of the map. Wait, hold on. Is that a path up there? This tree is placed way too specifically. Whoa, there is. I'm almost 90 days in and I'm just now finding this. The secret area had several hardwood stumps, as well as a statue of a man in a golem stance, searching for his precious sweets. I was able to craft and plant 10 more wild seeds before heading to the mines at 9:30 p.m. to burn a bit more time. And I am so proud that I'm not going to sleep at 6 p.m. anymore. Eventually, I leave the mines at 1 a.m. Still hunting for level 10 combat and mining means that this is going to be another day at the mines. I reached floor 120 after starting at 110, so I spent the rest of the night cutting wood. So I might have impulsively sold my storage of mayo and cheese, so let's see how much it makes. A casual 25k. It's day number 375 down here in the mines, and by now I'm feeling pretty confident. I can rush enemies a bit quicker to kill them faster at the cost of a little bit of health, and overall I feel pretty comfortable with, oh no, 4,500? No! Unfortunately, I had just sold off every single bit of my cheese as well, so I don't have a surplus built. But at least I had the ones that were currently in the machines, so I ate a slice and then planted 10 more wild seeds, and then it was time for my favorite pastime of clearing junk on the farm before bed. The wild seeds were ready for harvest, which meant I could craft and plant even more. After harvesting, I was able to craft and plant 20 additional seeds, and one bad slip up isn't going to stop me from mining and combat, so I jumped right back down the elevator to grind a bit more. Making my way to a boss floor on 109, and to avoid dying, we run. I spend the rest of the night chopping wood, no new levels. Day 2000 of the mines. I enter at 8:40 a.m. and I leave at 1 a.m., but no level ups. The second round of wild seeds are ready for harvest, which allows me to craft 40 new seeds. Level 10 is looking kind of unlikely, but maybe I can still at least reach level 9 foraging. After planting and watering the 40 new seeds, I saw a few more worms, which allowed me to make 10 more seeds, and then knowing my biggest constraint was going to be on growth times of seeds, I searched the map for wild forage and made 20 more seeds to really help ramp up the wild seed output. After planting the seeds, I chopped trees for the rest of the night, reaching level 8 in foraging. Today is a big wild seed harvest, which allowed me to craft 60 more wild seeds. I don't think that these will be ready by day 100, but there's no harm in planting them in case you guys wanted to see a 200 days where I redeem myself with everything that I've learned during this run. If you do want to see more, let me know in the comments down below. And since we are coming to the final countdown, it's time for me to face my demons in the Skull Cavern. This time I'm equipped with bombs and cheese, and I'm ready to explore. And I get a rabbit foot drop from the scary flying monsters, which I will be holding onto for the rest of the run just in case it's actually lucky. Things get a little bit dicey on floor number 3, but I do manage to run away. On floor 4, I find several iridium veins and one drops a prismatic shard. I manage to make it to floor 7 before running low on health and food, and I decide to leave. On the way back to the bus, I remember the 3 pillars, and I head to them to try and place a diamond that I found while I was in the mines. And that of course doesn't work, so I scroll through my inventory, trying the other gems that I picked up while in the dungeon. I feel like it has to be some kind of energy thing for a gem. Maybe the prismatic shard that we picked up? Oh, I think I was right. Ooh, a galaxy sword. And it's level 13? Returning to the farm, I spent the rest of the night chopping wood. Armed with more cheese and an upgraded sword, it was time to tackle more of the Skull Cavern. Things do get a bit dicey, but it's nothing that can't be handled with a little bit of cheese. I managed to reach floor 12 without jumping in any holes and reach level 9 combat. One more to go. 3 days left in the run, and I'm feeling pretty confident about reaching level 10 in combat. In my head, it would only take maybe 1 or 2 days, so after harvesting and replanting the wild seeds and armed with cheese, it was time to mine. Things were going pretty well, and I managed to reach floor 18 today. Okay, maybe if I'm quick, I can find the next floor before leaving. That's gonna be close. I'm okay. Never mind, this is a disaster. Dying at 1:30 a.m. was definitely not on the list, but at least I only lost 1,000 gold from the accident. It could have been much worse. And then I use a farm teleport to quickly get back to my farm. Hurry, hurry, run, run, run. No, what an awful day. Shaking off the bad from yesterday, I harvest wild seeds and plant 20 more in their place, and then it was time to conquer our fear and go back to the Skull Cavern. With a little bit of sinkhole luck, I managed to make it the deepest I had ever been in the caverns, floor 27. Leaving only because it was incredibly late, I managed to reach level 10 mining, and regrettably I chose Prospector instead of Blacksmith. Heading straight for the Skull Caverns after my morning resets, I felt like any kill that I got could have given me the bump that I needed to reach level 10 combat. In the caverns, I focused on combat and using as many bombs as possible to traverse as quickly as I could, and I managed to reach floor 25 before passing out at 2 a.m. For the final day, I harvested the few wild seeds that I could, and then headed to the mines to fight until the bus opened. At 10 a.m., I then head to the Skull Caverns thinking it would only take a few kills to finish off level 10 combat, and I ended up spending all day here, reaching floor 32 before passing out, and no level up. So I didn't quite hit my goals for 100 days, but I did learn a lot in a very short amount of time. And I have so many things that I would want to do to either improve my current farm or to make a brand new farm way more efficient. I ended up with 79 iridium ore that could be some really juicy upgrades, 532 copper ore, 714 gold ore, 2 spare prismatic shards, a lot of wild seeds planted, decent progress on all community center bundles, and a total 100-day earnings of 428,750 gold. I only reached level 8 foraging and 9 combat, but both of these could easily be maxed by the end of the year 1 winter season. I hope that you enjoyed 100 days in Stardew Valley. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and let me know if you want to see more Stardew Valley content.